Greetings. We're here again. Time to talk. I'm enjoying these conversations. I would love to have conversations with people, but in this day and time, this is the next best alternative. Let's talk. Just some thoughts, just some, commentary, just some enjoy a beverage, be at a pub, 1770, 1772, 1775. You had people gathering together who were questioning, who were considering, who were contemplating, who were saying, these people over there who are taxing us, well, we're not represented over there. These people over there act like our rights are things that are privileges, and they can remove them, limit them, or take them. These people over there who ignore that we've been self-governing for well over 100 years, 150 years, even more. Many people were questioning. Today, the 2023 version of a pub in 1770, 1773. Here we are. There's no perfection in man's work. There's no perfection in governmental systems, concepts. We do, though, consider and need to consider, what do we value? I'm right here, you can join me, value our individual rights, liberties, and freedoms. We value limited government. We value controls on the power of government. We value individuals and the other forces, such as the press, such as other governmental bodies, working, paying attention to contain the tendency of those who are in positions of power to take more power. It's not a struggle. This is history, not just American history, not just rooted in British history. This is history. Those who have power will seek to take more. One of the most radical things ever done by a leader of a country was George Washington, who was the first president of the United States, deliberately, intentionally, willingly, and knowingly say, I will not be president after this second term. He lived out, he modeled how the person in power, highest office of the land, would step down. And he stepped down even though he knew that there would be problems, that there were things that he might solve better. There were things about, in this case, John Adams, not to disparage him at all, but that John Adams, his successor, wouldn't handle as well or in the way that Washington himself thought was a good way to go. But he did it because he said a little bit of that is it is worth it for a little bit of that to come in to show that power must be transferred. There must be limitations on power. So one of the things that I've been doing in all of these postings, I hope you start to watch some of them, if you ever look at this, is to look at our rights, liberties, and freedoms, to try to consider in different ways our constitutionally enumerated, spelled out limitations on government, role and authority of government, checks and balances on different parts of government, and we as the people, what rights do we have that supersede, that preceded anything that government has. We have all of that. We also have this, just this idea of how do you think, how do you discern, how do you parse through all of the noise? It's not noise, but all of the talkings. How do you discern what's really good, what is where there's smoke? They're playing you, they're manipulating you. How do you discern legitimate conversations and discussions, debates and ideas from them trying to sway you? How do you do that? I've got things to suggest, to put forth. A whole different point is looking at our culture today, which is more than the US. It's the Western world, but particularly the English speaking world. We all come from a heritage that came out of Britain, England, and Scotland. Our heritage included the idea that we, the individual person, are the center. There are limitations on government, and we have rights that precede and override anything the government might impose. We have been challenged in that, in the English speaking world, far beyond any time in history with this COVID seizure of power by the governments. Canada, I know there's some of you up there. You got to be a lot more salty, Canucks. Scotland, my ancestor came from Scotland, born in 1808, Aberdeenshire. Logie Coldstone, specifically, emigrated to the US, became a US citizen. My ancestor would be ashamed of the abandonment of yourselves the people of Scotland have undergone. If you want to comment, if you're Scottish and you believe that in Marxism and you believe in shutting your mouths and not being able to speak certain words, make a comment below. So we've got all of that. And we have our current culture. Most people, most of the time, it's been evolving, it's been developing, are, okay, you do you, leave me alone. You do you, don't put it in my face. The LGBTQ plus ABC RX Xena, they plus, they are pushing this into the face of children. Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, Target, Disney. Our culture wars are about whether you respect people, individuals, decorum, and dignity, whether you respect that or whether you are one of those who demand that people take a knee to you and what you believe. I take a knee to Jesus. Every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That will happen. I do not take a knee to any woke. No. I called out Barnloon Mayhem when BLM was first said. I said, that's Marxist. That is a Marxist ideology. Well, they were real Marxists. They took the money and they ran. So here we are. Where are you? Are you in a range of recognizing how little we actually are prepared for what they're trying to do? How much They are nakedly showing. Said that because there have been their children to them. You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. So, just some, not even thoughts, just some framing again of where we are. Where are we? Where are we? Son of Liberty 2020, amliberty2020 @gmail.com, thelibertyhub.com. Comment, share, like, subscribe, pass along. If you should happen to see this, pass it along. Just say, hey, watch this voiceless, nameless person sit there and actually bring up some things that are about us framing ourselves so that we can engage in discussion, comments, commentary, that we can do it respecting the people who are participating and not trying to propagandize them. See you next time.